The laughter started before I even reached the champagne table. Sharp and careless, the kind that tells you the joke has already decided who you are. David Walker stood just inside the ballroom doors, listening to that laughter like it was a familiar bruise. The hotel smelled like lemon polish and money, and the chandelier light bounced off gold-rimmed glasses, turning everyone's smiles into something reflective and cold. I had flown in from Chicago that morning for my younger brother's engagement, wearing a tailored navy suit that cost more than my first car, and still I felt the old instinct to straighten my shoulders, to make myself smaller before anyone asked me why I was there. My brother Ethan spotted me and broke away from a knot of guests. "Dave, you made it." He hugged me hard, the way he always did, like he was trying to anchor himself. His fiancée, Lauren, followed with a practiced smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Behind them, Lauren's friends, mostly white, mostly wealthy, mostly loud, watched me with open curiosity. One of the men, red-faced from drinks, leaned toward another and stage-whispered, "Didn't know Ethan grew up in the inner city?" They laughed again. I felt it in my teeth. I pretended not to hear and congratulated them both. Lauren thanked me, glancing briefly at my watch, my shoes, the cut of my jacket. Assessment complete. "So, David," she said, dragging my name out, "what do you do?" "I work," I replied. Ethan shot me a warning look, but I smiled. I'd learned a long time ago that answering too much too fast made people uncomfortable. Lauren's friend, the red-faced one, snorted. "That's vague. You in security or something?" "Something like that," I said. We moved into the ballroom, and the evening unfolded like a slow test. Every joke seemed to circle back to me. Comments about affirmative action, a woman asking if I was here on behalf of the hotel, someone else touching my hair without asking, then acting offended when I stepped away. Each moment stacked quietly on top of the last. I remembered being 12, standing in our parents' driveway while a neighbor asked my mother if I was adopted. I remembered college recruiters who assumed I was an athlete, not a finance major. I remembered boardrooms where I had to say the same idea twice before it was heard. Tonight wasn't new. It was just louder. Lauren's father, Thomas Reed, finally approached me with a handshake that was firm but distant. "So you're Ethan's older brother. Impressive turnout tonight. I hear you live in Chicago. Expensive city." "It can be," I said. "And you've done well for yourself?" His eyes flicked again to my suit. "Well enough." He smiled thinly. "Good. It's important to know your place before you marry into a family." Something in that sentence settled into me, calm and heavy. I excused myself and went to the bar, where the bartender poured me a bourbon without asking. He looked like he'd seen this kind of night before. As the speeches began, Lauren's friends had clearly had more to drink. One of them, a woman in a silver dress, leaned over as Ethan thanked everyone for coming. "You know," she whispered loudly, "it's really inspiring how Ethan's family overcame, you know." I met her eyes. "Know what?" She flushed. "Circumstances." Ethan's voice cracked slightly as he talked about love and future plans. I watched my brother, remembered teaching him to drive, covering for him when he missed curfew, wiring him money when he first moved out. I was proud of him. That pride was why I hadn't shut any of this down yet. But then Thomas took the microphone. He made a joke about diversity in the room, gesturing vaguely in my direction. The laughter came again, softer this time, uncertain but present. Lauren squeezed Ethan's hand. Ethan stared at the floor. Something clicked in the place. When Thomas finished, I stood before I realized I was moving. The room quieted, surprised by my sudden presence near the stage. I took the microphone from the stand, feeling its weight, the faint stickiness of spilled champagne. "Hi," I said. "I wasn't planning on speaking tonight." A few nervous laughs. Ethan looked up, alarmed. I met his eyes and nodded once, just to tell him I had this. "I've heard a lot of interesting things about myself this evening, about where I come from, about what I do, about why I might be here." Thomas shifted in his seat. "I want to clear something up," I said.
Not because I owe anyone an explanation, but because I believe in transparency. The room was silent now. My name is David Walker. I'm the founder and majority owner of Walker Strategic Solutions. A few heads tilted. Recognition sparked slowly. We provide logistics and compliance infrastructure for mid-sized manufacturing firms across the Midwest. If your company has streamlined its supply chain in the last 5 years, there's a good chance we helped. I looked directly at Thomas, including Reed Industrial Components. His face drained of color. We closed your last 3 audits, I said calmly. We renegotiated your shipping contracts. We saved you about $12 million last year alone. Whispers rippled through the room. Lauren stared at her father, then at me. I smiled, not unkindly. I started the company in my apartment 10 years ago. I worked nights. I failed twice. I succeeded because I was careful, and because I learned early that people will underestimate you if you let them. The woman in the silver dress looked like she might cry. I'm not offended by ignorance, I continued, but I don't tolerate disrespect, especially toward my family. I handed the microphone back and returned to my seat. My hands were steady. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Ethan stood and hugged me, his voice thick. "Thank you," he whispered. The rest of the evening changed shape. Conversations stalled when I approached, then restarted carefully. Thomas avoided me entirely. Lauren apologized quietly, her eyes finally sincere. I accepted it without warmth. Later, as the party thinned, Thomas found me near the exit. "I didn't know," he said. "You didn't ask," I replied. Outside, the night air was cool and clean. Ethan walked me to my car. "You didn't have to do that," he said. "Yes," I said gently, "I did." He nodded, understanding settling in. As I drove away, the city lights blurred past, and I felt something loosen inside me. Not triumph, not anger, just relief. I had told the truth in a room that wasn't ready for it, and for once, that was enough.